What is up, Shadowverse soldiers? Before we get into the video, I wanted to let you guys know that I am now doing webcam locals. We're going to be hosting it on Thursdays at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you're in the Shadowverse community Discord, and everyone is welcome. So the link is in the description. I will hope to see you guys on Thursday. What is up, my Shadowverse soldiers, and welcome back to another Shadowverse Evolved video. So today we are doing the Forestcraft reveals for Uma Derby, and I want to say that I hope these cards are very good. Forestcraft needs a buff because Forestcraft only had one representation of the last tournament that I did the review on. You guys check that video out. But I feel like Forest really is very slept on out of all the classes, that it doesn't get the strongest cards. I understand that. But it does have like good end game and good late game things. So I'm praying that, Forestcraft can get some love in one of these sets. Not saying that Forestcraft is the worst deck, but it is, the weaker decks out of all of them. So let's go ahead and get into it. So the first card we have is Ishin Flash. So you feed her once and she'll start racing. And once follower begins racing, give it +1/+1. Then select up to one enemy follower on the field and return it to its owner's hand. Tokens returned to your hand are removed from the game. Alright, so as soon as I look at this card, all I can think of is Rose Gardener. And now we have another Rose Gardener that came out in Uma. So it's basically the same effect, it's just you don't get a draw for the combo 3. So if you're not running a combo deck, I would 100%, just say, hey, here's another removal for whatever it is. But in my personal opinion, I don't like Rose Gardener because it doesn't get rid of the problem. It can get rid of it on the field, and yeah, maybe, it has last words effects and the last words doesn't go off. But if you put something back into your opponent's hand, they're going to play it again at a point in time, and I don't like that at all. Next up, we have Friend to Train. So when this card leaves the field, select a Usemuni follower on your field and give it +1/+1. Fanfare, draw a card. Alright, so this looks, when I look at this, all I can think of is Blessed Fairy Dancer for Uma. So it looks like Forestcraft is still going to be doing that bounce thing where, hey, you're going to be recurring some cards. Hey, here are some early game cards. You put them back into your hand, and then you're going to play them again, and they do another thing. So I feel like this is going to be a pretty good amulet card, and whatever the future cards are going to be for Pretty Derby, if they need to be plussed up, I wouldn't mind, especially if they have like Ward or something, and I can do this combo multiple times, and I'm just here to set up. That's really what Forestcraft is. You have to set up, and like you're also tempo. You can get rid of your opponent's stuff. So Forest having all this flexibility is really nice. Alright, next up we have Gold City. So you feed her once and she'll start racing. And if there are at least 8 total cards in the field, give this follower Storm, and then Fanfare, recover 3 play points. OMG, guys. Alright, so this is a 4-drop that essentially costs 1 after you play her. And if the stars align, she has Storm. But realistically, we like the fact that it recovers 3 play points after being played, because this helps for your combo. And any combo deck like Forestcraft is going to eat this card up. So I feel like this is going to be a staple in the combo deck. I don't know if it's any like winning list in the JP or anything, but this is very good for combo, and I feel like it's very valued here. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Forest is going to come up with Pretty Derby, and I'm very excited. Next up we have Haru Urara. So you feed her once and she'll start racing. And when this follower begins racing, give it +1/+1. Then this follower cannot take damage this turn. Alright, so this feels pretty good in terms of aggro. So you basically can play her and then feed her, and against aggro, you can swing against their already swung bodies, or if they have something warded up, you're doing 3 damage to something, and she doesn't take damage, so she doesn't die. So that's the best part about it. And if, she's going to stick on the field unless your opponent does something to her. Unless, they have the spell, or, they want to give up a follower. So it's a 1-in-1. You're either taking 1 card out of their hand, or you're taking 1 card off the field. And that's absolutely amazing. Alright, we have NS Fujin. So you feed her once and she'll start racing. She has Rush and Assail. And when she comes into play, select another card on your field and return it to the hand. Alright, so I think this paired up with the little 2-drop amulet that we saw is going to turn her into an 8/8. And the fact that she's an 8/8 means she's going to be very hard to remove. So she either sticks on the field and is going to swing 8 at you, or you're going to buff buff her up, and then you're gonna swing into a big follower and get rid of it. So I like that because Forestcraft needs more removal. That's not in terms of neutral cards execution. I'm looking at you, and this is really in a way Forestcraft's like janky way of being Alexander. Of course, it's not as good as Alexander because Forestcraft is definitely the middle child and doesn't really get the best of respect. But this is a pretty good placeholder in terms of Forestcraft. Next up, we have Marvelous Sunday. So you feed her once and she'll start racing. And then when she comes into play, you return another card on your field to its owner's hand. Give your leader +2 defense. And then anything, tokens returned to your hand are removed from the game. So, 2-drop, heal 2, bounce something back is pretty good. I feel like this is going to be used in the fairy buff route, especially with like Blessed Fairy Dancer and whatnot. Anything that's going to be bouncing something back to the hand is going to be used for like combo. So, I don't know if this card's going to be very practical. Honestly, I'm not sure. But, the bounce effect with the +2 defense is very good. I wouldn't say it's better than Nature's Guidance, but it's definitely good in terms of, getting the racing and having rush to swing into something and just putting anything back to your hand. So, I like it. Alright, we got Quick, Tasty, and Fast. Alright, you choose one of the following effects. You search your deck for a follower with Storm and put it into your hand. And then you select the follower on your field with Storm and give it +3 attack. Alright, so the card that we looked at earlier, I can't remember her name, I'm so sorry. But, if she has Storm, you can give her +3 attack. And then you can search your deck for a follower with Storm. So, I can search my deck for Flaming Glass if I wanted it. But, Forest can get that deep. Forest can get that deep with the turns if you get to the late game. So if I'm on like turn 9, I will 100%, if it will close me out the game, search my deck for, Flaming Glass. But there's a Gilgamesh too. I believe Gilgamesh is one that has Storm too. Forgive me guys for not remembering the cards off the top of my head. But this is kind of like a flex card. If this does go in terms with Rhino Roach too, and I like that. So Rhino Roach will be like, swinging for like 5, and then you can cast 2 to, make him 8. So you can definitely catch some people off guard with this card, and I like it a lot. Is it going to be practical? Probably not. But I can see it in some really crazy builds, and I hope you guys, can make some crazy deck lists with these cards. Alright, next up we have Shingo Windy. So you feed her once and she'll begin racing, and then Fanfare, you look at the top card of your deck, you may put it onto the bottom of your deck. Alright, so it's not cantrip, but you play a 1-drop, you can look and see if the card that you want is what you need next turn, or, have the RNG. If it's something that's not going to be good, like, I'm on turn 1, and then my next card I'm going to see is like, a Dark Angel Olivia, and I already have one in my hand, I can just put her to the bottom of my deck, and, keep on pushing. Because not too much is happening turn 1 unless you're against Abysscraft, and then you're just sitting there holding your hands together and praying that you're surviving. But I think this is pretty good, so you can see, like the removal quicker, or you can dig through your deck faster. I like cards like that. And we have Taiki Shuttle. So you feed her once, and she'll begin racing. When this card is returned to your hand from the field, select an enemy follower on the field and deal 2 damage. Alright, so she has Blessed Fairy Dancer stats. When she's returned, pinging something for 2 is nice. You'll swing 2. If it survives, then you can return her to your hand with one of the either Nature's Guidance or any of the bounce effects that, Forest has, because they have so many. So I like that they're keeping to the archetype of bouncing with this. Unlike the Abysscraft that's, doing Necrocharge, isn't like very practical, and no one has Necrocharge stuff. But the bounce effect I like that they have for Forestcraft. It keeps your cards in your hand, you can replay it and get some value off of it. And, it just fills up your hand. So I really like the bounce mechanic for Forestcraft. Alright, and we have Yukino B-Gene. So you feed her once, and this follower begins racing. She has Ward, and then when she comes into play, you return another card onto your field to your hand and give this follower +1/+1. So, the fact that she's going to be a 4/4 with Ward on turn 3 is very good. So, is she going to replace Ancient Elf? No. But this is another card that bounces things and also gets big. Now, into the bigger turns, I can see you're being valuable with the whole bounce mechanic, but nothing really shakes. You know, turn 3, you really want things to shake, and playing a ward with a, you know, rush is nice. But unless you pair it with that 2-drop, it looks like this entire archetype is going to be playing around that 2-drop, because, you know, she'll be a 4/4 with ward, and then if you already have that 2-drop on the field, then she becomes a 5/5 with ward, and that's actually pretty good because, you know, you're drawing cards. And then, so I can really see the combo going on, you know, combo Forest, you guys get it. But on the real though, I really do like what they're doing with Forestcraft with the bounce mechanics. I'm so sad that there's no legendary or super legendary. I don't know the rarity types, forgive me guys, I'm still learning them. There's no like legendary for Forestcraft, and that hurts my heart. So they're still doing Forestcraft some type of dirty. Now, as terms of what comes out later, I don't know if there's going to be like new promos. I don't know if the promos are going to be like, hey, you know, this is an alternate version of the card like they do for regionals, or if we're ever getting, you know, promos for locals. I don't know what's going on with stuff like that for Bushy Road, but I hope that we do get that in the future. Well, this is the last card, guys. I appreciate you listening. You know, I love you guys so much. You inspire me so much. And, you know, thank you for being here. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. You know, tell me what I did right. Tell me what I did wrong. I like hearing from you guys. All right, guys, make sure you are safe in whatever you do tonight, and make sure you're safe in doing whatever you do for the rest of the year. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.
I gave you all my love, baby, my heart is cold when you're around. You warm it up, liquid gold, baby, yeah, you warm it up, liquid gold, baby, and my affection, all that paper you wasted. Take my love.